Hello and welcome to Canvassing DFW. I am Jose on the mic, and with me as always is the lovely, amazing dancer Amay. How are you doing, sweetheart?
I am great today. I'm really excited about today's show.
I am excited as well. Before we get into it, let me get with the cast of characters. Today we also have with us, jumping in from the Kickback Show, we have Cuddy. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, man? Feeling very righteous right now. Glad to be here.
Outstanding,
Good
outstanding.
to have our friend Cuddy here.
That's always good. It's always good. It's a good day when you have Cuddy on.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
We are actually glad to have and lucky to have with us. And I'm not stalling. I'm giving everybody right now, I say run, I say, to go get pen and paper. Because we're going to drop some knowledge on you today. Today we have with us a special guest, AJ Amyx. How are you doing, sir?
What up, brother? Good to be here, man.
Oh, man. Awesome. I don't like to say ex-musician. I say a non-practicing musician.
Dude, I got a new record coming out soon.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Still working. All the tracks are done. We just have to write lyrics and all that good stuff.
Surprise.
Wow, there we go.
Love that.
So you're an artist.
Well, I was. Up until 2009, I toured professionally in a Christian rock band.
Okay.
We played with like Project 86,
Very
Spoken,
righteous.
all that good stuff.
Oh, very much
we had
so.
30-foot tour bus. We, were offered 2 record labels and all that good stuff.
Look at there.
We're going to do the same path. We got something in common.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, I did
This is going to be fun. So when is this thing coming out?
I don't know yet.
It's
The only reason is I'm working with artists.
Oh.
They can't
We're gonna
stick
talk
to a
about that.
date, So it was supposed to drop in March, and then he was touring and doing his thing because he's like a number 65 charting gospel artist in iTunes.
Wow.
And so he was doing his thing. He's also a youth minister over in Bible church.
What's
huge.
his name?
Moses Uvir.
Okay.
And then so from there it was like, okay, August. Well, now we got the music done by August. Now we got to write lyrics, and then we have to send it to our homie Dustin Cavallo to be able to do all the producing of it. So I don't know when it's going to be done. It will be done before the end of the year, though.
Yeah, well, you got the skeleton there. You just got to put meat on it. Yeah.
Of course.
Sure. Right on.
This is a very wonderful guest because I want to talk about how we met because I think it's a really fun story.
Through dancing.
Yes.
And I'm not a dancer.
I know.
I'm like the least rhythmic dancer on the face of the planet.
You were marvelous. Actually, I'm really happy with the results. So I met AJ and his lovely now wife because I was teaching them.
What is her name?
Sarah.
I'm sorry?
Sarah.
Well, shout out to Sarah. Hey,
Yes,
there you go.
she's gorgeous. She's a lovely lady.
Yes, she is.
Anyway, preparing them for their wedding dance.
There you go.
Yeah, and so that was a really.
It was like a mashup.
It was a total mashup.
Because it was like tango to, I don't even remember.
Started with like a very
Salsa to
Viennese
Romanian
waltz.
stuff, to a waltz. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like a little experiential piece in and of itself.
And I told the last time we spoke, I told you that it was like a little running joke. To be honest with you, before you guys came in, and they always give me kind of very challenging situations because most of the teachers are specialized, tango or West Coast swing, whatever. And I happen to be kind of this unusual teacher. I know a lot of different dances, just enough to be dangerous in all the dances. So if it's an interesting situation like that, like a mashup, like you said, they're like, Amay, we've got this couple, and they want to dance 5 songs, and their wedding is in a month, or whatever. Did you come in like it was
it was
month?
like 4 weeks out,
Yeah,
for sure.
4 weeks out, so short one. Will you please take it? Okay. So I listened to the music, and I was like, oh my gosh, these people are, either crazy or shooting for the stars or something. So, I mean, I had to listen to the music. It was very beautiful Viennese waltz into a tango, and then and your wife, she does shoot for the stars.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should live with her every day.
Wow.
So
we accomplish more in 6 months than most people accomplish in 5 years. No joke.
No, I can tell when I met her.
Yeah.
She is, and she's got a beautiful personality. So she was prepared to get what she wanted. She wanted these dances, and I was prepared to say, okay, this is what's realistic. And so, we did come to a compromise, but you got most of the dances, including the Romanian
For
dancing.
sure.
Yeah, and it was actually beautiful, and because they came in with like, okay, if this is what you want to do, this is what we got to go for it. So that's how I found out that he was in the Christian rock band, because even though he didn't know how to dance, I was like, I always ask questions. Are you a musician? Do you know sports? Anything that could help me.
So what instrument do you play?
Guitar.
There you go.
Had long hair, man, like nipple link. It was rock and roll, and I'd swing sweat onto people and jump off the drum set. It was
How long
nuts.
have you been playing music?
We started writing
Or
when
you as an individual though, like?
Since I was in 8th grade, so I was 15, so 15 years. And I'm terrible. I am a terrible musician.
But you're a great singer.
No, I'm not even a singer. Like, I just...
You're a good songwriter then. What?
No, I'm not even a good songwriter.
Yes, this is interesting.
He just lucked into this thing, is what it sounds
He's
like.
a hard worker.
I work ridiculously
You
hard.
know what? Hard work is better than talent.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
hustle is better than talent.
And I'm good at spotting talent and putting them together and then
exactly.
leading the talent.
Right.
There
And
you
so,
go.
like, I was the guy. We didn't have a management company. I created a management company for our band. So I booked our shows.
You're more like the Michael Bivins of the group.
Maybe. I don't know who Michael
New
Bivins
edition.
is, but you know.
Bell, baby, bell.
Bell Billy for Poison.
No, dude, this is what I'm telling you. I don't even know like
about music
artists
at all.
or music, and I did this professionally.
Where you from?
I'm from East Texas, in the middle of nowhere. There's like 700 people, including the cows.
What, Longview or what?
No,
No,
out
down
there,
in Maybank, Texas, down on Cedar
about-
Creek Lake.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gun
Yeah,
Barrel City.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah, out there.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gun Barrel City?
Yes, yes.
What,
Everybody knows that one because it's a goofy name.
Yeah.
Gun Barrel, Texas.
Yeah, that's right. That's where they got their place.
Yeah, I passed through that one time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's all you need.
That's why I'm
It's
really,
true. It's
very
true.
excited to have him on the show, because it's important for people to know if you have a desire to do something, to work hard to do it. I mean, I was discussing that on our last podcast, and we'll air that tomorrow. But anyway.
Yeah, that's coming out tomorrow.
Yes, and we're talking about that. Like, I started off, and I was not a good dancer, but I loved it. So I just had to do it and figured out how to do that. But right now, your title, if we look on Facebook, is Growth Strategist. What the heck is that?
Yeah. So we grow. Like, we grow businesses. That's
Yeah.
what we do. We double revenues, and we help people take back their time. So just trying to figure out a title. So it's growth, because in order to grow a business, there's two things you have to focus on: business strategies, marketing strategies, mechanics, sales, but also the personal development, the personal growth aspect.
Yeah.
Because who you are today and what you've done today is not going to get you to what you want tomorrow. So ultimately, if you want something that you've never ever had in your life before, you must be a completely different human being than you've ever been up to this point in time. Because if you try being that exact same person today, doing the same habits, the same actions, the same characters, you won't get the thing that you want.
It's the same results.
Yeah.
Either evolve or dissolve.
Exactly. I always say you
Basically.
thrive or die. There is no in between. You're either growing and thriving or you're dying. There is no plateau. If you look at nature, it's either growing or it's dying. We as humans are the same thing. From the moment we're birthed to take our first breaths, we're dying. Like, we're aging, but we're dying,
There
right?
you go.
So we're either thriving or dying. That's what I always say. It's whatever you choose.
Yeah.
No right or wrong. It's your choice. Whatever you'd like to experience, it's yours.
Don't be on a treadmill, like moving but ain't going nowhere with it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right.
Nothing ain't running, moving but your mouth. You got to take action to it.
Exactly.
That's all
Exactly.
it is. I know exactly where you're coming from. I like that. Church, keep preaching.
That's right. I know, Kenny. I love that you're here. I love
Keep
that you're
preaching.
here.
No, seriously.
Right? How did you get from Christian rock band to growth strategist? How did that happen?
So 2008, I read a book called The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, and he was talking about this idea of a lifestyle business, being able to work from anywhere in the world from your laptop. And I was like, why in the hell did I not learn this in university? Like, why didn't they have this class?
Yeah, they're not going to tell it to you.
No.
They're going to give you that.
Exactly. So I was like, well, if Tim can do this thing, I'm going to figure out how to do this. I mean, if this dude can do it, then I can do it. And that's just kind of my outlook on life. If somebody's accomplished something, and I want that, I can do that. And I remember sitting on a plane on the way to Burbank, California, from Dallas to Burbank, and this was 2009, so I'm going to jump around all on dates, but it all makes sense. And I was listening to an audio book by Michael Bernard Beckwith. I think it was like Prosperity, Abundance, or I don't remember what it was. But anyway, the thing that jumped out at me was he said, if you can see it within them, it is within you.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So think about this for a second. If you're
Yeah.
reading a book, you're an artist, you're whatever it is, you see it, that means it's within you. Because why in God's name, why in hell would God give you some type of vision that you're looking at Jose and say, Jose, you're awesome, brother. I want to do what you're doing. But then I don't have the capacity to pull that off. That would be a fucked up life. Right?
Seeing is believing.
So we just broke the seal on that one.
You know what? For a while, I didn't think you cursed. You know, you're in the Christian rock band, and I seen curse around this guy. Anyway,
Yeah, right.
Get it out, man. Come on, angry Ian.
So we'll go all over the place. So this ultimately me seeing going backwards now. Me reading Tim Ferriss and saying, cool, if Tim can do this, I can do this. So that's ultimately how did I go from being a professional musician and having a 38-foot tour bus and turning down 2 record offers because the contracts were shit and I didn't want to sign the contracts.
I know.
Right?
Okay.
Believe me,
Because they wanted us to spend $20,000 to do a new record, and I'm like, but I'm selling my current one that I've already paid for. Why can't we just promote this? I already got radio play myself. Why can't we just take this that I've done and move more, right? But they didn't want to do that. I want to start all from ground zero. I'm like, no, I'm not spending $20,000 for a whole new
Reinventing
record.
the wheel.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Was that
No,
a
you don't
hard
do that.
decision?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
You
It
just
wasn't
like-
a hard decision because, again, I got to watch out for me.
Yeah, if it makes sense to you, then I'm
Yeah.
you can't talk me out of this.
Exactly. I mean, if it's going to pull dollars out of my pocket, I got to figure out what's going to be the return on this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so the contract read where I'm going to come up, not just me, but it was a band of 5 guys. So the
Yeah,
5 of us,
5 ways.
exactly, are all coming up with $5,000, $4,000 a piece, essentially, to foot this. But then the contract read, if we like the product, then we will shop it. I'm like, no. So why are we coming out of pocket with skin in the game and you have no skin in the game?
Right.
No. That's not going to work for me.
Well, it's not even no
That's
skin in
why
the game.
all
It's
these-
if we decide we want to do this. So
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's why all these rap
They don't
artists
even
go
have a thought.
independent now. You can't. A record label can't give you what you already have because you ain't sold so much. You made so much money off all these other streamings and CDs and shows and merchandise. A label say, "I give you $1 million." You sign this deal. They turn down that deal because they already got $1 million. So why we sign? There's no sense of signing a record deal because you only get paid off your shows anyway. That money right there you get off your shows, it goes to you and your manager. But the record labels, at least you're on a 380, a 360 contract. You know about a 360.
They getting everything, piece of everything.
Yeah, they
Merch,
get a piece of
album,
anything.
everything.
You can do a movie or anything. They want a piece of that. That's just how it
So
goes.
you got to read the contract.
So sometimes that's why all these rappers and people going independent now, and that's why I say about that's why I'm glad we branched out on our podcast where we did because the way Ian was talking about it at first is had a network under his name. And I'm like, no, it's not gonna happen right there. I'm not gonna have a network under his name when he be the front line. I've been through that group shit before, and I know how. So if everybody had their own channel, we all are. I think we all kings and queens around there. So I mean, I can't be no chief under another chief. It's not me. And that's why I've been
It's a
like
very good
in
conversation.
in the genre of music that you're in. I don't know if you can have an independent thing going for you like it is in hip hop. Because hip hop, you can just have a mixtape out and throw some on YouTube or SoundCloud or whatever and get that stream going. Next thing you know, you got shows lined up for you. You got merchandise.
So in the
for you.
Christian rock and roll world, you could. I mean, we did everything independent. We didn't have a record label backing us. We didn't have a
But were you
manager.
getting paid out the independent though?
Yes,
Okay, cool.
because the churches would pay us to come in and play a Disciple Now or a church camp or lead worship or whatever. And back then there was this site called I don't remember the name of the site, but essentially you paid a yearly fee that was nothing, like $200. And all of the youth pastors would go there to find talent, and then you would bid for that show, right? So I would create my EPK on that site. I'd pay to be a member. That site had brokered all the deals with all the big youth pastors, so they turned in there to say, hey, we need this type of style for this show, and you bid the project. So I'd go on there every single day. None of the other guys would. It's too much work to log on and look for shows. God forbid.
God forbid, right?
But I went on there and looked, And I'd be like, oh, bid. And I just started being like $600, $1,200. And the guys would be like, $1,200 too much. I'm like, let's see what happens. And then they'd pay it.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, all right, that's our new rate now is $1,200 for us to come play a show because
you can't
somebody
hear
paid
no
it.
if you don't ask.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And so for us, it was really easy to get paid. And ultimately, that's how I started even booking our tours up when we played Cornerstone. Cornerstone Festival no longer exists. Maybe they relaunched it. I'm not quite for sure, but it's huge. I mean, it's a festival of 20,000 people
Wow.
up in the middle of nowhere in Illinois, in Bushnell, in the middle of cornfields. It's nuts. It's like a Christian Woodstock.
I was just going to
It's
say
nuts.
that.
It's nuts. We were playing 3
Like-
shows a day there.
Like
It's
children,
nuts.
like children of the corn.
Yeah, right.
It was crazy.
Pretty much.
I remember the first year we played there, 2008. We were driving in a bus pulling a trailer, I believe at that time, or Suburban. I don't remember. And but there was people like picketing it. You know, like rock music is Satan music, and like they're protesting.
Wow.
As we're driving through the intro. It was nuts. It was
Wow.
crazy. Yeah, it was nuts.
What made you
Wow.
decide Christian rock?
Man, it's gonna sound terrible. It's easy. I mean, like, essentially we had, you know, it was positive music. We weren't this preachy band that's going out and saying, you know, you have to be saved or anything, but it was just positive music, you know? Like, we grew up in the church, so we just wanted to talk about life and how it could be positive. And so we had to pick, well, do we go secular and go into the clubs where you have to bring people and you split the door, which we did that, and I learned that game, where we pre-sold tickets rather than having the Battle of the Bands. I printed tickets. I paid out the venue at the end of the night. I'd broker that deal with the club owner because I learned that if I pre-sell tickets, people show up.
And see, I went through Epton music thing where you, they give you, they ask you how many people you think you're gonna have on, you're gonna bring, and they give you the tickets. And we sell them for a certain amount,
Yep.
and they give it a certain percentage.
Exactly.
Went like that. It's called it's the Epton. I still have the tickets from back, 'cause I didn't sell all of them one time. And I kept them as a souvenir. And it's some kind of group that they book shows for you, whether you gospel, rap,
Yeah.
country, whatever.
Yeah, whatever you're going to do.
But they give you a percentage of the tickets you sell, and then you actually get booked based on your
I
ticket
see.
sales also.
Nice.
But like I said, it wasn't even my show. It was a friend of mine's, and I sold more tickets than he did.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't throw me 20%. He gave me half what he made just because
Right.
I pushed more than he did for his show.
Yeah.
So it's like
See, ours was even more bootleg than that. So I was a graphic design major, so I knew how to like design stuff, and so we didn't have to pay anybody to design. I did all of our design, and it looked amazing. So I went to like.
Of course it did.
I went online and just like did a little search that said, you know, Ticketmaster tickets, and I printed it out, and then I pulled it into Illustrator, and so I designed our ticket to look like a ticket from Ticketmaster, and I laid out 4 on a 4x8 postcard. So then I would print 4 to a sheet on a 4x8 postcard via overnight prints. They send them to me, I cut them up, and then I would sell
so
those.
you make business cards.
Well, those were our tickets.
You know, like, but can you like, you know what I'm talking about, the business card?
Yeah.
You make y'all business cards?
No, I didn't make the business cards,
Well,
no.
we
No,
went
I-
on a site.
I went on a site.
So what you do?
I
You
think it
just
was
design. So let me ask. This is what I want to ask you. If I wanted to make a logo, get a logo for my podcast, I can go to you.
No, I'm not. I don't do design anymore. I quit doing that in
You don't do nothing
2009.
then. Not under the table or anything.
I'd say go to 99designs.com and get it done for $100, $200.
Okay, that's cool. Know what I
Yeah,
do.
it's good for our audience to know that.
And then you
too.
can crowdsource it, and you'll have like 20 designers all around the world competing for your project.
Oh,
and
I
you'll get the best
love
thing.
that.
You just crowdsource
What
it.
is that
I'm
called?
going to write that down.
99
Say it again. Let the listeners know.
Yeah, you crowdsource. So you tell them, hey, I need a logo for my podcast. This is kind of my vision. These are the colors I'm thinking of. You know, what do you guys have? And then you pay, you know, like $200 or whatever. And it sits in a little account online on the account. And then all of the designers send in ideas, and you select one of the ones that you like, and whoever you choose, they'll do like 3 or 4 revisions, whatever you pay for.
Yeah.
And
99designs.com.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
You can get anything. right there.
Nice.
Right.
AJ knows so much.
Yeah.
Tell you, man,
And that's why I don't design anymore, right? Because if you pay a good designer, it's $150 an hour, and then I saw in 2008, well, you can do this for $10 an hour overseas. So why would I try to create a career that's going to be completely outsourced eventually?
Yeah.
Right? So I shifted and pivoted and left that behind. It wasn't serving me.
So what do you do now? My bad.
Yeah, so what I do now is helping people double their revenues and take back their time, right? So establish influencers, establish personal brands. I have a company up in Toronto who does like payment. They their merchant accounts of big companies who are processing $100,000 or more a year more efficient. So they'll save them $10,000, $20,000, $100,000 a year by renegotiating rates on their behalf, or et cetera. So I go in and I'll train their sales teams on how do we generate more leads, how do we close more business. I train them on their processes. I have people here in Dallas where they want to launch some type of business, whether it's sales training, live events. So I help them understand who they are, how they are operating, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, how do they market themselves, how do they put butts in the seats, how do they optimize the back of that room for sales, etc.
Yeah. Ears to the speaker, all that.
Yeah,
Butts and seats,
exactly.
Ears to speakers.
Exactly. I had a client of mine, she put 88 people in a room in Dallas at $45. We didn't make a lot of money on the door, but that wasn't the point. We made $60,000 on the back end of that event selling masterminds and coaching. So I help her strategize, how do we monetize the back end of the event? What are our offers? How do we anchor in the offers? How do we sell without being salesy?
Yeah.
There you go.
Righteous.
Dude, I'm telling you, I said right at the beginning, we're going to drop some knowledge on you
So
today.
what about podcasting? You do podcasting?
I don't do podcasting. I get on other people's podcasts.
Yeah, that's why he's sitting right there.
This guy is smart.
I thought you was a podcast. I thought.
Yeah.
I thought she said you had a
At the
podcast.
interview, it was an interview. I did say podcast, so that was my bad. But it was an interesting interview you did recently.
Facebook Live.
Facebook Live. Gary Rodriguez was your who you interviewed, and there's some really. What does Gary Rodriguez do?
He's a personal breakthrough and business breakthrough coach.
And there was a really interesting conversation that you had. Well, it was a lot of interesting conversations. He was talking about things that get in the way of people,
Self-sabotage.
Correct. Like procrastination was a big topic. Yeah. And
I'll get it done tomorrow.
Yeah.
well, interesting.
It's always tomorrow.
Not assertive.
Mañana.
No
Siempre
sense of
mañana.
urgency.
Yeah.
That industry
I
is
really
lazy.
encourage you to look that up, Facebook Live.
Well,
How would they do that?
Yeah, I just go to my Facebook timeline, just facebook.com/AJ Amyx, and then you can scroll through the timeline. But essentially, the conversation that we're having about procrastination is, we think that if I just learn a tactic that we can go execute on it, right? Even if we're thinking about time management, let me go learn some time management tactic and I execute it and I have more productivity. But why do we not execute on the tactic? And it's usually because we have some type of emotional blockage deep down within the cores of our subconscious that sometimes we don't even know is there from something that happened when we're growing up, something that happened in our childhood, something that happened yesterday.
A tragic event of some sort.
It could be a tragic event. It could just be a non-tragic event that you interpreted to be tragic.
Right. Baggage that you're holding on to.
Yeah, and there's no right or wrong. It's just your belief system. So ultimately, your emotions are impacting your belief systems, right? And your belief systems are ultimately impacting your behavior, and your behavior is impacting your results, right? So you can't just say, I'm going to go learn this thing and execute on it. I mean, that's part of it. And that's why I got into the personal development, because for many years I was teaching people how to be a leader in social media marketing, how we generate leads, how do we close sales. And I was teaching, and I learned that people wouldn't do what I told them to do. Or they would do it and it wouldn't work for them. And I'm like, why?
They didn't believe in themselves.
Yes, they did not have confidence.
They don't have the urge. There's no confidence in there. That's why you got to have that confidence.
Yes, and we live in a day and age where it's, we don't live in the information age. People say, we live in the information age. Well, yes, but we don't. I mean, we live in a day and age where information flows like water. Whatever you want, it's there. And if you don't tell me, somebody else is going to tell me. But the age that we actually really live in today is called the age of intuition. Right?
And
so you can spit some knowledge to me,
but
I can feel whether it's authentic
or if it's
or
fake.
congruent.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And the person with the most confidence and certainty will dominate the game of cash today.
It's like a song. You listen to a song when somebody's singing or rapping.
Right.
You can feel if it's real because it's coming from their voice. You can tell when somebody talking to you that it's just you feel it.
Exactly.
You don't see it, you feel it.
Right.
That's why I tell people, in this water we in, you got two people. You got goldfish and you got sharks. And it's a difference between goldfish and sharks. Goldfish have people that feed them. Sharks go feed themselves. There's too many goldfish out here. They want somebody to help them out and give them a little boost or urge them to do that extra step. But they don't know how to do it themselves. So like you said, that self-conscious is something back in the day or something that has them tucked in or don't. Some people, they just distracted by other things, relationships.
True, 100%.
probably don't have the time to put into what they're doing because of other things like
Or they're
job,
not making the
kids.
time is what it is.
Or not, and think about it. If you want something, you make time for it.
Yeah, you
Like
will.
that. Anything that you try to get a job or you trying to get with a girl, you go out your way to do those things. So go out your way
That's
to get your
dedication
dream.
right there.
Go out, and that's why I feel what you're saying
Exactly.
on this shit. I like the juices you got flowing through here. No homo. But, and she been telling me about
Wonder why
it
the
for, like,
disclaimer had to be there.
and see, me and MA, we just and Jose, he's the same way. But me and this stuff that you talking, this what we trying to get our surroundings on.
Exactly.
And they understand that
Got to get your mind wrapped around that.
you gotta sacrifice some things. You know, it's people. I ask you all the time, like, what you do today, man? Nothing. So I'm like, you didn't do nothing, man. And I go to work every day pretty much. I'm like, damn, you should have used that time to do this then.
Yeah.
Or you just trying to do that then, because I'm doing this. Like my co-host, he's got more time on his hand than I do. He should be out there looking for places to try to get some merchandise printed up for us and some posters and stuff. And he should be on the back end doing it. I'm already the muscle.
Of course.
He need to be. I'm the maniac. He the brainiac. He need all that free time he got. You need to sacrifice some beers and stuff and the other stuff. And
There
I
you
tell
go.
him all the time. You need to take that. That's not going anywhere. Them beers at Sherlock's, wherever we go, that's not going nowhere.
Well, there's another way to look at it, which is because I don't like this idea of we have to sacrifice. The better way to look this, or another perspective, it's truth, right? So maybe your homie needs to stop lying to himself and lying to you.
Yeah, big time.
Which
That
is, I would rather drink beer than go do this.
Yeah,
So let me
There you
stop
go.
lying to
That too.
myself and let me
Right.
stop lying to you and
Real.
just say,
That's what it is.
I would rather drink beer, and I'm cool with that.
Yep.
So just because society tells me I need to go be an entrepreneur and do something, I don't want to. I want to sit here and drink beer, and I'm happy with that. And that's okay.
Yep,
To
that's-
each his own.
To each his own.
Right?
To each his own.
Be truthful to
So
yourself.
there
Don't lie to
isn't.
yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say he's lying to himself or lying to me. I just think he doesn't have that drive in him.
No, he does not.
He just want to do that. He want to be a part of something. He's believing in it, but he doesn't want to do it. He wants somebody to do it for him. You know, some people they have people still hold their hand and walk them across the street and look both ways for him. And he probably one of those people. But I tell him, let's take our free time, man, and invest into our thing. Because nobody ain't gonna do it for us, man.
Right.
Sure won't.
Like the trip to Detroit Lakes. I told everybody, say, man, we put back $20 a week, all 5 of us. This is how much we gonna have when we get to
That's for
Detroit.
the On
Yep.
the Road podcast.
And I said, but and like nobody said it. Everybody, okay, but guess what? I see $20 get given to that bartender every fucking day
Yep.
at the pub, and I'm like, dude, you should have put that back, man, because guess when we go on the trip, you ain't gonna have no money. I know Jose ain't gonna have money. He's good. He's rich.
Far from that.
but and on the other hand,
Rich in
and
personality.
I don't know.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know nobody's pocket though, but I feel like as a team, this is what we need to do. Let's put $20 in the
Well,
for a week, once a week, $100 in about 28 weeks. Oh, not 28 weeks. 15 weeks later, this is how much money we gonna have.
Of course.
Yeah.
Simple.
And so this is a really great conversation, Cuddy. Again, I'm so glad that you're here because this is just, really helpful. Absolutely glad that you're here.
I'm glad to meet you, man. I'm very
I
glad
know,
to meet
right?
you.
Dude, I'm telling you.
What are you
here's
doing
what I
when you
wanna-
leave? Are you going to the bar?
Let's go have a beer. No, I'm just kidding. No, so
You're gonna go
I wanna
drink $20.
Come back to something.
I gotta write copy after this.
Oh.
Yeah, so I want to come back to something. So, first of all, I'd like you to say that book again because it's interesting. The last podcast we had, Wrangle.
Oh, the
read-
4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss?
Yes.
It's an old book, like 2005. I mean, yeah.
Yes, but this is just interesting that back-to-back podcasts.
Yeah, somebody brought that book up.
Yes. And so we focus on this podcast are really helping artists, musicians,
Sure.
dancers, to fulfill their dreams and to get past these roadblocks
Yeah.
and challenges. So this is what we're talking about right now. Sometimes the biggest challenge is yourself.
Yeah.
Getting yourself
And
out of the
so
way.
This is what
It's like every day, the biggest battle you face is the man or woman in the mirror.
Yes.
That's your biggest battle,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, that's
and you,
real.
And you have to tell
Right?
that person the truth. Because if not, you're not going to have what you want. Getting what you want is ridiculously simple. Now, do not confuse this with being easy.
Exactly.
Okay, but it's ridiculously simple.
Okay.
What do you want? What's required to get there? And are you going to do what's required? You either are or you're not. And you're either going to not lie to yourself and tell the truth, or you're going to lie and procrastinate.
That's it, man.
That's it. It doesn't get any more simple than that. Now, not easy, but simple.
Yeah, I got you. That's really good advice. Go back to how you started to do what you do. We had.
Oh yes, we
That's
jumped
okay. It
around.
was
That's
really
right.
good
Jump
jumping
around.
around.
It's good
excellent
jumping around, yeah.
I'm just bringing it back because
job.
I want to hear. I asked a lot of questions.
From Tim Ferriss, I saw it. I got it, right? You spot it, you got it. That's the personal development, cliche. You spot it, you got it.
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna start figuring out, and that's when I learned about internet marketing. And then so I hired a guy that I met through a guy. I think I spent $500, and he taught me like the basics of blogging and just internet marketing, keywords, SEO, basics of internet marketing. And then from there, I learned about Brendan Burchard. And Brendan Burchard is a dude who changed my life dramatically. And he had a free online video series for Experts Academy or something in 2009. And I gave him my name and email address, and I went through his 3-part video training series. And I didn't buy his $1,000 thing, but I reverse engineered what he is doing, right? This is just something that I do. I tell people to do it all the time, is reverse engineer. If there's somebody who's doing what you want, they have the ideal lifestyle that you want to have, what are they doing? Right? Because success leaves clues, another personal development cliche.
Interesting.
But if you reverse engineer their actions, their habits, what technology are they using? What are their marketing? Are they spending money on Facebook ads? Are they not? Are they on Instagram? Are they on Twitter? Like, what are they doing? Then start doing those things. Figure it out. So I would watch the browser change, and the URL. As you click something, it would be like, Aweber and this and whatever, and I'm like, what is Aweber? And I Google Aweber, and then I learned that was what they were using to power the email marketing system. And then I saw WordPress, and I was like, what's WordPress? And I noticed that was what was powering their website. And so then I figured it out. I figured out how to use these things and integrate them and put it together, and that's the basis of where I got started. And then from there, I learned about Mike Koenig's, and he had a program. It was $3,000 in 2010-11. It was like right in that spot, transitioning into 2011, called Social Media Marketing Machines. And it was a training program to teach people how to run social media for businesses to get them leads. And I noticed the opportunity. And again, this was 2010, 2011, like right on the cusp around Christmas time. Nobody where I grew up in East Texas knew about social media or how to use it for business. Nobody. So I was like, well, why don't I not launch a business doing that? And I'll buy this program, and whatever they say, I'll do. And I didn't have $3,000 at the time, and I could finance it for $500 for 6 months, and I had $500. And so I said, well, I will either figure out how to make this work, or I'll die. Like, those were the only options for me.
Pretty digital.
Yeah, that was it. So I bought it, and I went through it that day. I went through everything. I joined the Chamber of Commerce the next day. You have like your little time to introduce yourself, like 30 seconds, while most people stand up in front of a group of business owners and say, hey, my name is this is what I do, if you need anything, let me know, and they sit down. I took what I learned in that course and put like a little 30-second little inspirational, motivational promo talking about, hey, did you know 97% of people are online looking for solutions, and if you're using the Yellow Pages, it's like insane. Like, the only people who use them are old, and they're a little out of it, right?
Yeah, they're up to Z and Alzheimer's.
Exactly. and then so I had this little spiel that was using data that talked about a pain point that opened up a solution for them, and I just sat down. And this guy from the room kind of made eye contact, and he's like, hey. And I said, let's talk afterwards. I was like, sure. So we talked after the luncheon, and he said, hey, my son lives in Vegas, and I think you can help him.
Wow.
And I'm like, I possibly can. Let's have a conversation. So then we scheduled a time to talk, and that became my first customer, and they paid like $2,400. I flew out to Vegas, and I did a video marketing campaign, and then I continued to get more clients and more clients and more clients. And so I grew that business from nothing, from that $3,000 investment essentially, to doing like $5,600 a month. I had 22 clients on a reoccurring basis, and I got burnt out. I just got really burnt out because I didn't know how to hire people. I'm a creative. I'm not a business guy. I know how to make money. I know how to be creative. I know how to market, but I'm not necessarily a business person,
Okay.
Scaling hiring people,
Right.
and part of it is due to the growing up in a poor family, and that type of stuff. Emotional baggage. That's how I learned about Gary. Okay, and so.
Uh-huh.
So then we fast forward, and I hired a mentor in 2012. His name's Garrett J. White. Runs a program called Wake Up Warrior. Awesome guy. And so he taught me all about online funnels, and I spent like $6,000 with Garrett, and made way more money than $6,000 with Garrett. And I started coaching, started teaching, because I was like, dude, I don't want to do this. He said, well, you're a teacher. So I learned, like, my innate talent is I'm a really freaking good teacher, you know? And so that's ultimately what led me to becoming a coach, a guide, a mentor, being a growth strategist, where I'm literally just mentoring people who have businesses to double revenues and be able to take back their time. Because what's the point of making money if we're having to sacrifice all the time and not being happy?
Time is so valuable.
Exactly.
And so I think people get frustrated too when they feel like they're wasting time.
Yeah.
Why am I doing this?
Time is money.
It is this more valuable.
Yep.
Than money, I think.
Of course it is,
Yeah.
for sure.
You got it right there.
That's it.
I agree.
Yeah, so we come back to the challenge of, because it's a really great conversation you had with Gary Rodriguez, procrastination and the things that cause procrastination. Fear. Another one was perfectionism.
Perfectionism.
Yeah.
And also say guilt and shame.
Oh,
Shame,
yeah. See, I didn't
yeah.
finish listening, so that was the next one.
And we may not have even talked about that. But I'm just,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so this is very important, like you said, looking in the mirror to yourself and what's causing your procrastination. Because that's a tough one, and especially I think if, I think it's probably tough for a lot of people, but it may be, you tell me, because we're all creative kind of minds in this room. Do you think it's more evident, or for creative people or artists, do you think you see more procrastination, or not necessarily?
Yeah, I think there's definitely more, and it's usually due to their inability to be confident and certain, and not willing to say no, because they have this disease to please. We want to please people as creatives, because we have no self-worth usually as a creative. Okay. I'm just being real. Like most creatives, I can say for my own, the reason I toured, the reason I played in front of thousands of people, the reason I worked really hard was ultimately to have my father's approval. I didn't care about the praise from the fans, whatever. You know, I go sign autographs. We walk into PacSun, people would want an autograph, whatever. I didn't care about that. But I wanted my father's approval.
Okay.
Right? So my deep, innate core was I want to please him. Now, once I came to the realization that that was never going to happen, and that's his business, and I must only take care of my business, because there's 3 businesses in life. There's our business, their business, and God's business. That's it. And our only job is to take care of our business. I can't take care of Ami's business. I can't take to Jose's. Can't take care of Cuddy's business. It's yours, right? What you think of me, don't think of me. That's your business. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm not in control of that.
Yeah, can't control it.
I can't control it.
You sure ain't validating it.
No. So all I can do is worry about, how do I see myself? When I look in the mirror, do I have trust and respect for myself, yes or no? And this is where we have to get real, which is hard. Really, really difficult. Because it's hard to look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? I fucking hate that person in the mirror.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I'm scared to death of that person in the mirror. Because if I live my own potential, would I burn everything I've created to the ground? Would I lose every single person around me? Can they handle me at my greatest potential? Can I handle myself at my greatest potential?
It'll take for that to happen, though, for somebody to say that, though. Like, it'll take for them losing their job, friends.
Usually.
Anything.
Okay.
Or if they had a breakdown in their life at rock bottom, then they can look at themselves and say, I hate you. That's why people don't cry to Jesus till they start doing bad.
Usually.
And then once they get back on top, they lose Jesus. All the time. I see it all the time. When people do some stuff, crazy stuff going on in their life, they start going to church.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden they backslide and go right back into that dirt they was in. Just
Sure.
because they got out of that situation. I see it all the time.
So spirit, God, universe, whatever word we want to call it, has this very funny way of talking to us.
Yeah.
Usually, it's a small general whisper. And if we don't listen to the small general whisper, then it's usually a kick in the teeth. And then if we don't listen to the kick in the teeth, we get hit by a truck. Or we get cancer or something. Right?
Something to get your mind right.
Eventually, it's going to get our attention to direct us to say, hey,
You're
I
not-
put this thing within you. Are you going to do it? Yes or no? right?
Because you're here for a purpose. You just got to find out what your purpose is.
Exactly.
You got to find yourself first. At the same time, you got to love yourself first.
That's right.
Then find yourself.
That's right. And that's hard.
You gotta love who you gotta love who you gonna start looking for. Because whoever you find might not be the person you think you are. Because sometimes it takes you to get away from where you really, where you've been around, get out of your comfort zone and go somewhere to a whole different element.
Absolutely.
And to find who you really are and what your purpose is. And I know how that is because I'm born in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
I moved thousands of miles away somewhere I ain't know nobody. And I realized my personality is more than the streets and the hood and gang banging and stuff like that. I'm more than that.
Yeah.
Even though I still was around it. But when I moved somewhere else to another place where I'm around people completely different from me, it made me just really, I didn't know if I had all this personality in my head. I didn't know I was this witty or this right here because I was around this.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if I was still in this position right here, I won't even know this about me.
Exactly.
So that's why I love who I am.
Gotta be a chameleon, baby. You gotta be a chameleon.
Yeah.
When you change, when you move, you change. I mean, that's
I'm like, so people like, man, you always like. I don't have to drink 5-6 beers to have a great time and be all cool. That's me anyway. It's my spirit anyway.
Yeah.
You put a beer in my head and some people around me, I'm already gone.
Yeah.
So
light the candle.
My drive is I automatically get inspiration off the vibe and energy around me.
Exactly.
I'm talking about like I don't lose it. I just keep recharging. The more people, the more volume, the more I go. It's like at work, like it's slow. I wind down. But once it get busy, that's like my mind. I like my mind to go fast and like it's like everything just goes smooth like that. And that's why I like being on the mic, being in front of people. That's why I do what I do, and that's why I get better and better as I do it. And like where I'm sitting there right now, gathering all this positive information from you.
Sorry, man.
And being on this show once again, I'd like to say thank you. It just makes me develop as a podcaster and everything else in life. It just makes me better, spiritual, any other kind of way.
Yeah. And this comes down to like our choices as a creative. Do we watch reality television?
Nope.
Or do we listen to a show like this where we're feeding our brain? Choices, right? Choices. Like I was at the Europa bodybuilding show 4 weeks ago, whenever I was here in Dallas. I had a friend of mine that was competing in it. And I was watching all these people who are in way better shape than me, right? And the only difference between me and them is they work a lot harder on their body than I do. Let's be honest, right? You know, they lift harder, they lift more often, they eat like super stringent. I mean, it's crazy what goes into competing in that show. I mean, it's nuts. I have a lot of respect for those people.
Yeah, no doubt.
But what I'm getting at, and in fact, I lost where I was going to get at. Here we go. So what I'm getting at is like the people in Europa, they compete really, 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 really hard. And the only difference is they just did what's required, right?
Right.
Exactly.
I really don't know where I was going to go, so I'm just going to leave it at that.
But what you saying makes sense, though. I mean, you get what you put into it.
Yeah,
whatever
absolutely.
you put into it is what you get out of it. I mean, we can't expect for the podcast to go way out the world with it if we only doing something every now and then. We got to keep giving it to them every week, staying consistent with it. And
consistency is the key.
Consistent with it. Like I had this chick that I ended up getting with, man, one time years back, and she'll tell you to this day. She said, "I'm gonna tell y'all why I got with him." She said, I wasn't even really attracted to him at first, but he was persistent like a motherfucker. Everywhere I went, he seen me, and he never stopped. He was at it, and I seen all that confidence, which go back to what you were saying.
Absolutely.
And she said, he killed me with the confidence. You can't beat that. When somebody that got confidence, being authentic is the most sexiest thing in the world.
Absolutely.
Talking about believing in yourself, man, and having that courage, man. I think that's most sexier than anything.
Yeah, and it's not just for dudes; it's for women too.
Women too, though.
It's everybody.
I don't want the girls to push over.
Exactly.
I want her to have a backbone and push me just as hard as I push her. So it's like I'm with that. Whatever I was saying, I forgot.
But it's kind of exciting. I feel like this whole room is full of.
That's a good vibe in this room right now.
I feel like I'm in revival right now.
Right? Getting some church up in here.
So, talking about persistence, that's a really good quality to reach your goals and dreams.
Yes.
Talk about enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm.
Yes.
Be more specific. What specifically you want to talk about enthusiasm?
Well, I feel like when I first started dancing, because I was not good when I first started, but I was persistent, and I think the number one ingredient I had was enthusiasm. I was so excited about dancing and learning how to dance, and we were required to sell some dance lessons.
Of course.
And I didn't know what I was doing, but I was so enthusiastic about it. It happened.
Yeah.
Because and so I guess that's going back to. Maybe I'm answering my own question, but please chime in. Anyway.
So I'm going to replace the word enthusiasm with this idea of passion that everybody talks about.
I was about to say passion.
Right?
Okay.
Because the reality, and I was reading a stat from Intuit. They make QuickBooks, right? So they know everybody's data. So by the year 2020, which seems like a long way away, but it's not. It's just
right
around the corner.
Yeah, it actually is right around the corner.
Fast. But 40% of the American workforce will be independent contractors. So beyond 2020, I'd be willing to bet 50-60% of the American workforce will be independent contractors by 2025, 2030, somewhere around there, very quickly. Okay, meaning not working for the corporate man.
Okay.
Now, in order to think about this idea of enthusiasm, right? Like, you do dance instructors. If you're not extremely passionate about what you do, you will not be the best at it. Okay? And we live in a day and age where we pay for results.
Yes.
So you better love what you fucking do and study it and work on it and work and hone your craft to be the best at that. Because if you don't, somebody hungrier than you will, and I'm going to pay them because they can get me the results better than you can. Right? Yep. So this is this idea of passionate. Yeah. You better be passionate in today's marketplace. And this transcends just being a business owner. Think of an employee. Like, people want to think somebody's going to come save them. Somebody's going to come give you some tactic to save your business. Somebody's going to give you some raise in your company just because you've been there for 5 years, but yet you're not producing 5 times better than you were 5 years ago. Why in the hell should I give you a raise? Wow. You need to work to increase your skill sets within the game of whatever you do, whether you're an employee or whether you're a business owner. Because if you do not, somebody who's hungrier than you will replace you. Period.
Yes, they will.
Exactly.
They are quick to drop you too. That's a fact. I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
Somebody younger, hungrier, and cheaper, as it turns out. They don't know what you know, but it doesn't matter. You cost too much, and so I can replace you with 2 kids over here, that are younger and hungrier. Pay them maybe 10% more than I'm paying you, but I get 2 bodies now.
Yeah, and it's a shame when it's thought that way, because what the corporations do not understand is what you have over these people is wisdom.
Yes.
Right? And so why they can do the same thing, but it may take 3 times as long because they don't have the wisdom to know, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, do this. The only way the younger people are going to gain the wisdom is, let's try this, let's try this, let's try this. Oh, it was this one.
It was that one.
But you already knew, don't do the other 4 things.
Yeah.
Right? That's wisdom. They're younger. But
it's efficiency too at that point.
100%, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm more efficient.
Exactly.
Because I know not to do those 4 things. We been there, done that. Don't do that.
It's true.
Just go over here and grab this one.
But what I'm getting at is the people who are even being laid off in the game of working for a corporate company. They could package their skill sets that they've done for the past 20 or 30 years into a personal brand to then be hired by some corporation to do that job, or multiple corporations to do that job as an independent contractor.
There you go. That makes sense.
Now, how does that happen? Confidence and certainty in your ability to be able to produce a result.
Sure.
Your ability to be able to market and sell. Your ability to have mechanical systems in place to scale. Unless you get honest and say, well, I just want to make $100,000 a year. I don't want any team. I don't want employees. Okay, cool. How many jobs do I need to do, and what's my price point to hit that?
Excellent.
I'm hoping you folks are writing this stuff down.
I'm gonna watch this.
I gotta watch this.
I'm gonna watch it again.
For instance,
a lot of information.
Keep listening to the show over and over and over again.
Right.
You look at the 4-hour work week. Usually to work with me, it's $1,200 a month on a retainer basis. So 8 clients a year, I make $100,000 with 10 hours of work per week, give or take. Right? There's a piece of me that feels guilty.
This is a good
because the American society ingrains you to grind, to hustle. Then why? Then you want more and more and more and more. And what is your core? Scarcity. Now, there's the law that God can only give you that which you give yourself. So therefore, you may get those 8 clients. You will make $100,000 a year, but it will be short-lived because at your core, you are scarcity. And until you clean that up, you will not maintain your income that you want to have.
Explain that a little bit more. You are scarcity. What does that mean?
As a man is, so does he see. So therefore, if I'm making $100,000 a year, only working 10 hours a week, and I feel, what if they go away? What if somebody leaves? What am I going to do? What if it dries up?
Wow.
Your core is scarcity, meaning it's not enough. I need to do more. I need to do more.
Yeah, it's like,
so then God says, cool, let me give you opportunities to work harder. Rather than your core saying, life is abundant. I'm doing everything that's required for me to hit my target because I've clarified that and I've done my expectations that I've created for myself. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm good for the day. I can have the conversation with God, says, hey God, I've done everything I can do for you. You show up.
Wow.
There you go.
You show up. Now think about this, because some people will be like, well, this is heretical, right? Some people may look at this and say, who am I to say this? But if God is a father, and if I had a relationship with my father where I could say, hey, Dad, let's say we were in business together, or you're with your home and your business together, and you said, we agreed upon these certain tasks. I have done these. It's your turn. Nice. Your homie would be like, you're right, dude. Let me get to work for you. Exactly. Because God, universe, spirit is no different than you, Ami, you, Jose. It's a relationship. So as long as I come to an agreement to say, hey, this is what I want out of life. This is what's required because I've taken the time to get clear. I've done these things. I don't go to bed feeling guilty, shameful, saying, I shouldn't have done that. I decided to drink 3 beers instead. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll procrastinate.
Yeah.
If you can show up with enough personal power, enough self-mastery to say, I've done what's required, you do your job, motherfucker.
And that just happened.
Yeah, I heard
right?
that. You hear it.
Now, I use extreme language to open your mind.
Sure.
Okay. Hey, I get
right?
you. Believe
No, dude,
I'm not using extreme language because I'm ignorant.
Sound cool.
You know? I'm using extreme language to get your attention for those who are listening to this episode.
Okay.
For part of it to be able to shock you. I'm cool with that. At least it's getting your attention and maybe some of this is sinking into their brains.
Yeah, there you go.
Open them pores up.
That's it.
Get inside.
Wow.
But what I'm getting at is if you do what's required and you have enough personal confidence and certainty to know that you've done everything, you will not be living in scarcity. Instead, you will start creating abundance.
I love this.
Oh man, let me tell you, this is free stuff right here, baby.
Yeah.
This is some freestyle right here. All righty, well, we're gonna go ahead and shut this one down, or at the very least slow it down. No, we're gonna continue this afterwards. Cuddy, I'm glad you were here for us.
Man, I'm glad to be here, man. Glad to meet you, AJ, man. Once again, Canvassing DFW does it again.
Yeah, we do. AJ, thank you for being with us. Dude, this was awesome. Absolutely awesome. My lovely co-host, Amazing Amay, how are you?
I am good, Jose. Thank you so much, Cuddy, AJ, Jose. This has been a great podcast.
All right. Well, this has been Canvassing DFW. I am Jose on the mic, and I will catch you on the flip.